Emotional availability means being reachable with your feelings and responsive to another persona's feelings. You might see it when it is not constant talking or perfect vulnerability. What matters underneath is that it is the ability to stay present when emotions matter. If it is ignored, relationships deepen when both people can be met emotionally. Availability shows in attention. One ordinary version is a partner puts the phone down when the conversation becomes serious. The mechanism is that presence tells the other person they matter. The practical effect is small moments of attention can build safety over time. It also shows in emotional honesty. Consider someone can say they are scared, disappointed, or overwhelmed without turning the feeling into an attack. The hidden part is that honesty gives the relationship real information. The outcome is often that hiding everything forces the partner to guess. Responsiveness is different from fixing. The pattern shows up when a person may not solve the problem, but they can listen and care. The moving force is that emotional availability often means staying with the feeling first. The risk is that quick solutions can feel dismissive when comfort is needed. Unavailable people may still be kind. In a daily situation, someone can give gifts, do favors, or pay bills while avoiding emotional conversations. The link is that practical care is valuable but incomplete. Once that link matters, a relationship may still feel lonely when feelings have no place to land. Availability requires tolerance for discomfort. The clearest example is hard conversations bring awkwardness, guilt, sadness, or fear. The explanation starts with people who cannot tolerate those states often shut down or joke away the moment. The consequence is emotional closeness needs room for discomfort. Childhood can shape availability. For example, a person raised where emotions were ignored may learn to hide needs. The reason is that emotional skill depends on what was modeled and allowed. That can mean lack of availability may be learned protection rather than lack of love. Stress reduces availability. In real life, work pressure, grief, illness, or financial worry can shrink emotional capacity. The pressure comes from this. A caring person may become less responsive under strain. The result can be context matters, but repeated absence still affects the relationship. Emotional availability includes follow-through. Think of apologizing means less if the same hurt keeps happening without change. The process works because presence must connect to behavior. Over time, trust grows when words and actions begin to match. It is visible during conflict. A simple case is this. An available partner can hear impact without instantly defending every intention. The important driver is that they may still need time, but they return to the conversation. That is why repair matters more than never getting upset. Unavailable patterns often create confusion. You might see it when one day there is warmth, the next day distance. What matters underneath is that inconsistency keeps the other person guessing. If it is ignored, emotional uncertainty can become addictive when relief arrives unpredictably. Availability is not the same as having no boundaries. One ordinary version is someone can be loving and still need rest, privacy, or time alone. The mechanism is that healthy availability includes clear limits. The practical effect is constant access is not emotional maturity. Emotional language can be learned. Consider naming feelings, needs, fears, and requests gives closeness a vocabulary. The hidden part is that many people were never taught these words. The outcome is often that practice can make honesty feel less dangerous. The partner's response matters. Emotional availability grows faster when vulnerability is received with respect. The moving force is that mockery or punishment teaches people to close again. The risk is that safety is built by repeated reactions to small disclosures. Some people confuse intensity with availability. In a daily situation, dramatic emotion does not always mean genuine presence. The link is that a person can be intense and still avoid accountability. Once that link matters, availability includes steadiness, not only passion. Emotional availability affects attraction over time. The clearest example is chemistry may start a relationship, but responsiveness sustains it. The explanation starts with people usually bond through being understood during real moments. The consequence is absence becomes more painful as needs become clearer. A practical sign is repair after distance. For example, everyone gets tired or defensive sometimes. The reason is that the key question is whether the person returns, explains, listens, and reconnects. That can mean repair separates temporary overwhelm from chronic unavailability. Building availability starts small. In real life, sharing one honest feeling, asking one caring question, or staying present for one hard minute can change the pattern. The pressure comes from this. Big vulnerability often grows from repeated smaller safety. The result can be consistency matters more than dramatic confession. Emotional availability works when care becomes accessible. Think of love as not only what someone feels privately. The process works because it is also whether that care can be felt in conversation, conflict, comfort, and repair. Over time, the topic is understood through emotional availability works when care becomes accessible in practical terms. Emotional availability becomes clearer when it is tested in ordinary life. Take partner staying present during tears. The point is visible in a partner staying present during tears. The choice changes because emotional availability changes the pressure around the decision. What matters is the real consequence for the people involved, not just the clean definition of emotional availability. When the example is concrete, emotional availability stops sounding abstract and starts looking like something people deal with in real conversations, bills, deadlines, and relationships. Another useful angle is apology followed by changed behavior. An apology followed by changed behavior shows how one background condition can change the outcome before anyone calls it a big event. For emotional availability, the hidden force is whether care can be reached during real feelings, not only calm moments. Once that test is clear, warmth without presence no longer feels like enough. Emotional availability is visible in small moments. Staying present, listening carefully, repairing after conflict, and showing care in a form the other person can feel. A weak reading counts kind words and misses whether the person stays open during conflict or pain. In the case of hard conversation without punishment, the final result may look simple from the outside, but the pressure was already building before anyone noticed it. Better judgment starts by watching how someone responds when vulnerability appears. A practical example is small disclosure received respectfully. The practical point is not to memorize a slogan about emotional availability. The practical point is to look for care that can be felt, discussed, repaired, and repeated. That contrast explains why affection without presence can still feel lonely. Most confusion around emotional availability comes from missing that hidden exchange and focusing only on the surface event. Emotional availability means care is reachable when feelings are real, not only when the relationship is easy. A final example, care shown in conflict, not only comfort, shows why this matters before the outcome becomes expensive, stressful, or emotionally charged. The strongest takeaway is to look for care that stays reachable during hard moments. The practical point is to look for care that can be felt, discussed, repaired, and repeated. Once those parts are visible, emotional availability becomes less mysterious and much easier to handle in daily life.